As the changing world order accelerates and the Thucydides trap tightens around US-China relations, the geopolitical center of gravity has shifted entirely to the Indo-Pacific. Today, we are looking at a massive game changer: South Korea's indigenous nuclear-powered submarine project, the KSSN. This isn't just a localized containment strategy. The ripple effects of the KSSN span across the entire geopolitical chessboard. For Washington, a self-reliant South Korea eases the operational strain on an overwhelmed US naval industry. For Ottawa, currently searching for its next-generation fleet to secure its frozen northern borders, Seoul provides a textbook case of strategic agility. And for regional anchors like New Delhi and Manila, facing constant maritime friction, a robust South Korean blue water navy acts as an indispensable counterweight. Welcome back to the Kairos, where we decode the intersection of global macroeconomics and economic security. Today we'll unpack the strategic calculus and the technical leap behind the KSSN, contrast it with the increasingly fragile AUKUS alliance, and analyze what this means for the global defense supercycle and the new nuclear renaissance. Let's start with the hardware. South Korea currently operates a highly capable fleet of diesel-electric submarines, culminating in the 3,000-ton Dosan An Chang-ho class, KSS-III. They are engineering marvels, but they suffer from a fatal flaw inherent to all conventional subs: the need to snorkel. To recharge their batteries, they must surface or come to periscope depth, exposing themselves to advanced enemy radar and sonar. The KSSN project fundamentally changes this paradigm. We are looking at a jump to a 5,000-ton class or larger vessel. Why the massive increase in size? It's not just to fit a pressurized water reactor. A larger hull means a significantly expanded vertical launch system, VLS. While current diesel subs can carry a limited number of submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs, the KSSN will be a heavily armed arsenal ship. It provides a devastating, survivable second strike capability. To continuously track adversary SLBM submarines from the moment they leave port, 24/7 submerged capability is non-negotiable. A nuclear submarine can operate at top speed for months without surfacing, limited only by the food supply for its crew. But there is another critical frontier: the Arctic Ocean. As global warming opens new polar sea routes, the ability to operate silently under thick ice sheets is the ultimate strategic advantage. Diesel subs simply cannot survive under the ice because they cannot surface to breathe. For nations like Canada, struggling to secure its Arctic sovereignty against Russian and Chinese expansion, this under-ice capability of a nuclear submarine is the holy grail of maritime security. For South Korea, it secures the broadest possible sea lines of communication, transforming its fleet from a coastal defense force into a true blue water navy capable of protecting global trade routes. Of course, the primary bottleneck for the KSSN has always been the political and technical hurdle of nuclear fuel. The US and the UK use highly enriched uranium, HEU, weapons-grade material enriched to over 90%. This allows their submarines to run for 30 years without refueling. But South Korea, bound by strict international non-proliferation frameworks and bilateral agreements with Washington, needed a different path. Enter France. France's latest Supercycle-class nuclear submarines run on low-enriched uranium, LEU, enriched to under 20%. The operational trade-off is that an LEU reactor needs to be refueled every 7 to 10 years. But strategically, it provides a massive loophole. By adopting an LEU model and securing fuel from French state-owned entities, South Korea perfectly satisfies the global non-proliferation regime while achieving its military objectives. It's a geopolitical masterstroke. Seoul traded its potential support for French maritime security initiatives for a secure, independent nuclear supply chain. A brilliant Plan B. And this leverage is already working. Breaking news indicates that a US working-level delegation on nuclear issues is urgently heading to Seoul. Washington has realized that with the French alternative actively on the table, it cannot afford to sideline or dictate terms to its most capable Indo-Pacific ally. This multi-track diplomacy maximizes Seoul's negotiating power, proving that technological independence is the root of diplomatic leverage. To truly understand the brilliance of South Korea's strategy, look at the cracks forming in the AUKUS alliance. Australia chose total reliance on the US and UK for its nuclear submarine capabilities. They essentially outsourced their sovereign defense infrastructure. The result? The US shipbuilding industry is facing a severe systemic bottleneck. Plagued by labor shortages and supply chain disruptions, US shipyards are struggling to meet even their own domestic production targets for the Virginia-class submarines. Consequently, the delivery of subs to Australia is slipping further into the late 2030s. Australia is now facing a catastrophic capability gap, forced to pour billions of dollars into life-extending, obsolete diesel subs just to maintain a minimal presence. South Korea is taking the exact opposite approach. Leveraging its world-class commercial and naval shipbuilding infrastructure, domestic defense giants are designing and building the hull and the miniaturized reactor entirely locally. By importing only the fuel from abroad, South Korea insulates itself from the political gridlock and industrial failures of allied supply chains. This is what true national resilience looks like. Finally, let's tie this massive geopolitical shift directly to our portfolios. The KSSN project is a multi-decade catalyst for the South Korean shipbuilding and defense sectors. Furthermore, this military innovation intersects directly with the AI-driven nuclear renaissance. The ultra-safe, highly compact reactors required for these submarines share the exact same DNA as commercial small modular reactors, SMRs. As tech giants desperately seek baseline power for their massive AI data centers, the SMR market is projected to reach hundreds of billions of dollars. If South Korea successfully domesticates and stress tests the KSSN reactor at sea, it positions itself as a dominant, Tier 1 player in the global SMR market, directly challenging Russian and Chinese dominance in next-generation energy infrastructure. The KSSN is not just a submarine. It's a grand strategy. It represents a masterclass in navigating the Thucydides trap, balancing alliances, securing energy independence, projecting power into the deep ocean, and positioning domestic industries at the forefront of the defense and SMR supercycles. As institutional capital flows into these sectors, the South Korean defense supply chain is no longer just an emerging market tactical play. It has become a core strategic allocation for the new world order. If you found this macroeconomic breakdown valuable, please subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. This has been The Kairos. See you in the next cycle.